This might be one of, if not my favorite stretches of this game. I mean, I do like the journey to Fall Arbor and like all the distinct environments you go through as you go up and around and then back through Meteor Falls. But there was always something very special feeling about this route. And that's obviously due in part to the tall grass, like the really tall grass, in comparison to your usual tall grass. And I wonder, can you still do this? No, dude. No, there's no way. There's no way you kept HMs in. Man. Alright, well, for anyone who's not in the know, well, first of all, let me get a rappel up, but... So normally cut is used exclusively on trees that block your path, and I don't think you can do this with regular tall grass, but in this area, in Gen 3, if you use cut, it cuts the grass around you in like a 3x3 grid, I think. Unless I hallucinated that as a 7-year-old or whatever, but yeah, no, that's kind of a bummer, honestly. I mean, it's not like a huge thing, but it's also like, but you kept HMs in and didn't even keep like their entire functionality. Come on, man. Not the end of the world for sure, but it's still just like, man, I was kind of hoping that would still be a thing. Also, I think it's Sun and Moon where you can actually, where fishermen and the like can actually see you from shore, maybe? Something like that. There's an item back here. And that was like, so like in that sort of grass maze over there, there's, okay, I didn't mean to talk to him, but sure. There's a number of bug catchers, I think, and they all move in a certain direction whenever you move, but it's like relative. So like one of them might move left or something whenever you move up. It's like kind of flipped in certain ways. I think I just cut twice. Yeah, I guess it has to be twice with Endure. Curious how much this does raw. Yeah, okay. So solid 2 KO. I want to say I was close to on par with Norman. Wasn't his ace was like 42, I think, or most of his team was 42. And most of my team was around there, maybe a little lower, a little higher, so I don't want to be unprepared for Winona, but at the same time, I do have the Mega Bracelet now, and I do have a full squad of fully evolved Mons with generally good held items. Forget what the deal is with this. And plus, this is kind of the point in the game where... This is kind of the point in the game where, like, I really love this stretch of routes with, like, the rain and the tall grass and the, you know, the route music change and stuff like that. You're, like, entering the other half of the continent. And, of course, like, you know, some people would deem, like, the water sections to be... That's not really half, though. I mean, they're big routes and stuff like that, yeah, but... I feel like this is kind of, like... marking, like, a turning point kind of thing, which is pretty exciting, always. Relatively speaking, of course, but yeah. Lots of cool secret base opportunities, you see more waterfalls here and stuff like that. Although this, like... The thing with Hoenn, I think Hoenn is... one of the better regions in terms of how interestingly it is structured, and how it kind of takes the looping in on itself concept that Gens 1 and 2 did to certain degrees, and kind of like does that like a million times. No, you can ride your bike through this grass though. Used to not be a thing in the original games, from what I can recall. But the thing is, like, Hoenn is great from I cannot speak. Hoenn is great from an exploration standpoint. Maybe even, I don't know, would you say the best in the series? Like, I think it's one of them for sure. What else would be a contender, though, really? Like, as much as I love Gen 5, Black and White 1 really doesn't... Like, there's some things to go back and do in earlier areas. It's more so Black and White 2 that does more of that. Do I want to fight this double battle? I mean, I guess I could push to 48. Go Gren because it's raining, and go Langolier for the Intimidate drop. I should do some battles, you know. I don't want to fall too far behind, but I don't... Yeah, I feel like if I fought everybody, I'd be over-leveled still. And that's kind of my ultimate point, is like there's lots to go back and explore, like even on this route, all the waterfalls, and like really just all the waterfalls scattered around the region, whereas like in Gen 2, like, I guess both Gen 2 and Gen 3 both had 3 water HMs. You know, Whirlpool, Waterfall, Surf in Gen 2, and then Gen 3 was Surf, Waterfall, Dive. And so, like, it's convenient in that you could just get, like, a water type to learn all 3 and just use them specifically for that stuff. Oh, we could Mega. But the thing is, I'm trying to think, like, Waterfall was really... Wasn't it pretty much... No, okay, Mount Mortar had some waterfalls in Gen 2. But that's an area that I always forget about and, like, rarely go and bother to explore. Unless there's, like, a specific item that I need for some reason, like a held item that I want, or a, like, an evolution item or something. And I think there is something there, from what I can recall, but I don't... Like, I feel like I went there in my most recent HGSS playthrough on the channel, but I can't remember exactly. Either way. In Gen 3, they really went all out with the waterfalls, where, of course, you do still need it to access... Yeah, I guess in Gen 2, it's like to get into Kanto to go to the Pokemon League to begin with. And then, like, yeah, there's some in Mount Mortar, and I think that's it. Although I guess in HGSS, there's the ones on the way to the Safari Zone as well. Where in the post-game you get, like, Groudon or Kyogre. And stuff like that. But, let me think. You can just lead Uzumaki, I think. Oh, you're not a trainer. Yeah, but here they really scattered them all about, and so it's not, like, required. So I don't take a ton of umbrage with it, because I think the only mandated waterfall is the one up to Evergrande. Which I don't really know why they call it a city, but sure. Or Evergrande, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, either way, what I was trying to get to was, like, there are a lot of nooks and crannies to go back and poke into when you have access to new HMs and the like. The thing is, like, I rarely, if ever, bother to do that. Like, it is nice that it is like a thing where it's like, well, as you saw when I went out of my way to, like, that acrobike area and stuff like that, it's like, there's not always the greatest or most useful things when you go out of your way to do that. I feel like some of the more interesting and maybe even powerful types of items should be behind those kinds of backtracking blockades, because it rewards curious players who, like, remembered, oh yeah, there's this thing I can go back and get now that I have Waterfall. But I mean, even beyond that kind of stuff, like, it's cool to have that stuff there, though, obviously. It's just, by that point in the game, it's tricky, because, like, Pokemon has never been, you know, it's typically aimed at kids, so, like, it's not really known for being particularly difficult, which means you don't really necessarily have to go out of your way for even some of the most powerful stuff if you don't want to. But even then, there's, like, the Reggie quest and stuff like that, which was super sick. And of course, like, you know, the strategy guide had, like, the unknown translations in it, I think. And, you know, there were ways to go on the internet at the time and find this stuff out. I didn't really have much wherewithal about that until, like, a few years later, but I'm sure there were, like, forums and stuff, forum posts, like, and FAQs and stuff like that, talking about... I guess I'll just stand and Scald, yeah. talking about like the Reggie quest and translating it, and you know, you use Flash in this room, and then you bring a Relicanth and a Wailord into this room and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. It's a very obscure sort of post-game series of like post-game like sort of side quest thing. What's up, Moondrop? I'm doing okay. Doing okay. How are you? PP Max is actually kinda good. Maybe on Play Rough? The thing is, I've already used a PP up on Horn Leech and Strength. Yeah, maybe Play Rough would be the way to go with this. We can do that. Got a rare candy. We'll just like slowly level everyone together. So we'll lead Trevenant now. This team actually benefits from rain quite a bit. Except for Blaziken, of course, but... yeah, it's like we got a couple Fire Weeks. Technically, Apollo is Fire Week because of Dry Skin. But we got, like, you know, a couple Water Resists, I mean, immunity here. It's good stuff. I had thought about... like, if I picked Swampert, I would have tried to do a rain team, I guess. Oh, having a rough Radical Red run? Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, they don't fold down their little disguises. That was one of those things I feel like... at some point, I was definitely caught off guard by these trainers. Also, I like the way that they portray that it's raining, like on the bottom screen too. This thing's normally a special attacker, right? I'm gonna just Shadow Claw twice. U-turn. Oh, or we just one-shot it, yeah. But yeah, whether or not, I guess, like, whether or not it's worth it to go out of your way to explore these extra areas is, like... it's, like, extra stuff, so, like, I have a hard time... I have a bad lead, but... I have a hard time, like, criticizing it too much. You know, I think it's more so it's just cool to have places and things to go back and do, but, like, I know in Emerald, wouldn't... like, Groudon and Kyogre would, like, spawn... in, like, random... like, there would be, like, a random cave. I remember one of them, the waterfall next to Fall Arbor. I hope I'm not making this up. I remember, like, Groudon could spawn in a cave that would open up there, potentially, but I don't remember exactly how that worked. Now I'm curious, and I'm gonna go on Cerebi and see what's up. Emerald, Legendaries, Cerebi. Legendary Pokemon. Yeah, after completing the Elite Four, you will occasionally find strong weather on these routes. When the weather is in effect, you'll be able to gain access to yeah. That's fucking cool, man. It's not like roaming legendaries, you know, obviously started in Gen 2 with the legendary beasts. I'm getting used to calling them that because I'm so used to calling them the legendary dogs, even though that doesn't really make sense. That's what we called them back in the day, though, but... what's it called? You got your roaming, like, Latios kind of thing. But I think that's cool, where it's like... in the game where you don't get Groudon or Kyogre in the story, you know, being Emerald... oh my god. We're getting to Switch. You can encounter them based on, like, oh, there's strong weather here. Like, you could just be exploring, cleaning things up, EV training, I guess. Like, I don't know what else you'd be doing, really, besides, like, trying to purposefully track them down, but still. You, like, go through this route and you're like, oh, wait. This, like, doesn't look the way that it normally does. Like, it looks like it's a drought, or it looks like it's raining, or, like, whatever. The rain is, like, more apparent, obviously. And that's, like, a cool kind of instance, you know? Oh, so you got a Drought Golbat with the Chlorophyll Dialga? It's Sounds pretty. That sounds like a pretty strong combo. Good synergy there. I gotta do some kind of randomized something or other, because I do find like randomizing abilities in particular to be fun. Randomizing, like, I guess movesets can be hit or miss. I kind of draw the line at randomizing, like, stats and typing, though, but I guess, I don't know. I haven't really, like, looked at the randomizer, like, too much lately, like the universal randomizer. I haven't, like, messed around with it much. That's fair. That's fair. Alright, so we'll lead Altaria. We don't get the Altaria Knight until... Also Helios should be in the last slot. We don't get the Altaria Knight until Lily Cove. So maybe today? I'm still kind of torn on who I want. Like, I guess I'll have to try to just go back and forth or whatever between Mega Mawile and Mega Altaria. Old dungeon with the Weather Institute. Guess we have to fight one for sure. Although I'm a little nervous about that top one, like, blocking me in, so I'm gonna fight this one instead. I think I just Moonblast this, right? Damn, it's still 2 KOs. I think I Strength, just in case they Captivate again. Nice. Yeah, and like, I've mentioned it with the water routes, but I think just sort of generally, Hoenn has a lot of like trainers, like, you know, just trainers on routes and shit. And this is probably one of the few regions, I mean, maybe there's some that I skip in other gens, like I usually don't go back to, what is it called? I usually don't go back to the tunnel between Violet and Azalea in Gen 2. You know, like the lower area, I think there's a trainer or two. Like, there's some, like Mount Mortar, there may be some trainers I skip just by virtue of them being deep in there and stuff. It's like... But like, aside from that, as in terms of like, I guess, on the main routes and stuff, I feel like generally, I just like fight everybody in most gens. Except here. except in this gen where I'm like, there are usually a lot of trainers that I skip, even on regular routes in this gen, because there's just like, there's so many. And you add to that the fact that the battles in Gen 6 especially are very slow. I don't know if the crit mattered, maybe it did. And fight Shelly. Yeah, I mean, I don't have hazards on anybody, so I can just lead Altaria, that's fine. I feel like we're chilling. If Mei stomps us, then, like, I can go back and fight some trainers if I really want to. Or if I feel like I need to, rather. But like, I don't know, for all the dogging I've done on like Gen 3 just sort of in general, I still do think like Hoenn the region specifically is like very, like I enjoy going through it and stuff like that. I think it's well designed, rather. I mean, I guess you could argue, yeah, maybe the water routes at the end are like a little too big, but it's also like, well, I don't really know what else you could do, because I feel like if they were too small, then it would be like, oh, this is it, you know? Damn, I just got fucking played there. Like, half paying attention. Go into this and sweep, maybe? I'm just gonna double kick straight up. Come on, breakthrough. Nice. Yes, this thing dies super easily. Feeling lucky. Hey, see, this is why I kept double kick. And for, like, not even joking, like, kind of specifically for these sorts of situations. Either sash or sturdy or whatever, you know. Goes into muck. Oh, I forgot, yeah. This is not going to do as much as I would like it to, yeah. I forgot I opted for flamethrower. And this thing has high spadef. It's probably invested as well, if I had to guess. The toxic is really not that big a deal as long as I switch out. And yeah, I don't really have a great method of touching this. I think Langolier is like a safe switch. We can go into this Mega and Ironhead. Like, we'll reduce his attack. What does Muck usually have in terms of coverage? Like, Dark? It's like we resist Bug. Resist all that shit. Yeah, we just Mega and Ironhead. Probably demolishes this thing. Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow. What? Wait, I'm kind of impressed. Wait a second. Is Mega Mawile kind of washed, or what? This is the bulkiest muck of all time. We have 122 attack, so we have 244 attack. Yeah, like... This thing is bulky as shit. Maybe Mawile's attack IV sucks or some shit, I don't know. Either way, like, it'll 2-hit KO for sure. And, like, we'll, you know, keep taking damage from Infestation, but it's not like... I am so surprised. Because Muck has, like, kind of bad Fizz Def, right? Now I'm, like, curious if, how Muck was buffed in this. Pokemon changes... Muck. No. No changes. I know it has like 110 Sped F or something, but like, isn't it like 50, either 55 or 65 defense? I'll play rough. Nice, we land. Jeez. Mega Mawile, you did okay. Damn, I guess this is what it means to be on par. I kind of assume Mega Mawile will be, like, one-shotting shit, but I guess it probably just needs to be super effective. Because I do have to keep in mind that Ironhead's base power is only 80, which is not, like, that great in terms of, like, you know, base power-wise. I'm just gonna T-Bolt, I think. Yeah, good call on my part. Because hopefully this 2-hit KOs were specs, right? Damn near one-shots. Roserade. Blaziken's still in the back? What would you go for? I think I just go hard Blaziken. I mean, we resist the dual stab. And I'm not sure what this thing has in terms of coverage either. Sludge Bomb, okay. Or wait. Yeah, I guess it's neutral, but they also crit, which is unfortunate. Roserade also has an actual SPDF stat. I think I'm kind of like... I think I have to sack. Or, well, try to sack. Should live the poison because it is toxic. I think I just take my damage on this. That's... wow. Why is Blaziken so strong? And then, like, Mawile comes out, and Mega Mawile comes out, and, like, doesn't even... like, barely does half to a damn muck. It's crazy. What do I have on you again? I feel like Toxic might be worth it. Just because I feel like I would send in something, barely not kill it, and it would just spam recover over and over. So I'm like, let's just guarantee that. Yeah, and we have the Toxic to outplay Toxic. Which is fun. What would you go for your water move, I guess? But yeah, I really want to see, I want to see more Gen 5 ROM hacks. Because I'm like, if someone made really, like, any of the other Pokemon games in the Gen 5 engine, you've got me. You've got me right there. Easy sell. Although it wouldn't be, you know, a sell, but you know what I mean. Easy sell to play it. Because I do think these games could have been, well, I don't know, Gen 3 remakes in the Gen 5 engine could have been so sick. Alright, I don't give a shit about Cast Form. So... yeah, so that's that. Pretty close to Fortree, we gotta fight May, of course, and then there is a little bit of prep before Winona, but not a ton. Keep leading Strife. What did she lead last time, Swellow? Maybe I should lead Apollo, in fact. Mawile's another option. But yeah, that must have been like a... I feel like that had to have been a super bulky muck. Bulky muck? Gotta live 'em all. And that's regarding, you know, Iron Heads, I guess. What's that? Making power plays in your Radical Red randomizer? Normally like a Sunstone over here, I think. Not here, but a little further down. Or, I guess it would be Blossom, in terms of what you can actually catch normally in this gen. No, it's a Leaf Stone, I lied. For Shiftry. Sunstone is, then you get one in Moss Deep or something like that. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I do like the vibe of this route quite a bit. And like kind of the surrounding routes in Mount Pyre and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just in a bad mood or something, but she's like, damn, where'd you get that watch? It is cool though that like you fight your rival after the credits roll and stuff like that. I think that is cool though. Won the 1v1 with Terra Electric Mesprit against a Torn. Nice. I think Volt Switch kills, yeah? Yeah, it's not Sash. Get shit on. You only get Brave Birded by Lead Swallow once before you realize your mistake. I mean, she's gonna go into something in response to... Oh, it's also raining. But she doesn't have a Mega Pert, though. So it's not like she can Swift Swim outspeed me kind of thing. I like Gren here, I think. Okay, that's fair enough. Maybe Volt Switching was a bad call. This would be where Spikes would be really nice, though, I gotta say. Do I just go right back into Apollo? I'm trying to think. Like, Raichu is normally like Electric Move, Focus Blast, maybe. I could go into Dompe. But I kind of like Apollo and then pivot into Dompe, scouting for Focus Blast. He goes for T-Bolt. We heal a little bit because of Dry Skin. Oh, I know what I was saying. I was theory crafting a Rain team. A potential Rain team for this playthrough. I could also go Strife. I've not seen Hidden Power thrown around much. And I'm kind of grateful for that. I do think... Okay, that's a little annoying, but at least we're Natural Cure. Hidden Power is cool in a competitive context, but I just... You start throwing that around in... It just, I don't know, it just gives some mons coverage that I feel like they shouldn't have. It's like too easy to be caught off guard, I guess. In terms of like, you know, balancing an actual RPG sort of thing. I think I live one more. Yeah, nice. We slow it down. She might potion here. So, like, if she potions, the right play would be to Bulldoze, but I would like for this to get the EXP. So I think I would rather switch back into Apollo, anticipating another T-Wave. or a potion, in which case I can't Volt Switch out because I think it's Lightning Rod. It's usually what these things are. It could be static, but I don't want to risk giving it a boost. It didn't show Focus Blast, though, when I switched out, so I'm kind of like... Do I Rain Boosted Surf? I guess these are both the same, right? They're both 90 power. This has Stab, this has Rain Boost. I mean, I guess Surf has more PP, so maybe it's better to just use this. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't think... For a second, I was like, wait. But then I was like, no. Electrics were made immune to Para straight up. In this gen, I think. No, yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you on that. Let these guys get to 48. Extra sensory. Still 80? Yeah. For fighting types, I guess. But I have a Ghost, I have a Flyer, I have a... I guess a Steel Fairy. Like, Mega Altaria will be a Fairy type. It's like I've got... I feel like I have answers to fighting types without needing this coverage specifically, but it is tempting. Rock Tomb hasn't come into play much, but like it... Against... I keep wanting to call her Skyla, goddammit. Winona. Both 6 gym flying type specialists, but yeah. Rock Tomb against Winona is going to be actually very useful for both offensive and defensive purposes, so I think I just pass on extra sensory. Goes into Pert. It's definitely going for ground type move here. If you go for water type move, you're dumb because I'm immune. But then again, this AI will make random plays at times, so I think Dompe is the correct switch in. Because it resists the dual stab, and like I could switch out in case of Ice Punch or something. Yeah, EQ comes out here. God, I keep getting sidetracked. I was theory crafting a rain team with Swampert, obviously, because Mega Pert gets Swift Swim. I think I'm just gonna Raw Horn Leech. But of course, because, like, I don't think Gen 7 was out at the time, so, like, Pelipper was not given Drizzle in this hack. It definitely could have been given it. But then it would have to have been Politoed, which is fine for setting the rain. I could have also got a manual rain setter, like maybe Prankster Sableye or something could have been interesting, I guess, but... What is this gonna go for? Fire move, I guess. Let's go in Uzumaki. I guess it would have been Politoed, Pert. I probably would have still ran Heliolisk for the dry skin. Like water immunity and rain healing. In addition to just like type coverage kinds of things, because it's very easy for rain teams to like just be water types. And then I could run a Steel because they benefit from the rain and stuff like that, nullifying their fire weakness and shit. It's like Mawile could have still been an option. I don't know what other Steel I would have used. Like, of course, Metagross comes to mind, but I don't think you get access to that very easily. This could be Poison Heal, so I don't really want to Toxic it. Maybe just go Langolier. Like, I kind of wonder if Langolier would be better to be Choice Band, and then I run Mega Alt. Like, I think that's what it's going to end up being in the long run, so Altaria can actually, like, do stuff. But I'm going to give it Dragon Dance. As soon as we get Fly, I think I'm going to double back to Fall Arbor and relearn a couple things. Although, maybe I should wait till Lily Cove so I can buy extra heart scales. Yes, that was a super easy fight. And honestly, the Mons on my team that aren't like super powerhouses have been pulling their weight, which is cool. Yeah, so we get Fly, but we can't use it just yet. Yeah, that's... I don't really care about these berries. Those greppas or some shit. We'll heal up. Made it to Fortree in record time, damn. It might be good, though, because then beat Winona, head to Lily Cove, which is another pretty long stretch. And then, like, we gotta do Mount Pyre, we gotta go back to Slateport, we gotta do Aqua Hideout before I can even think about going to Moss Deep, so... yeah. Although, speaking of Hidden Power... I think it's... is it this house? I didn't even memorize that, I just kind of... I'm pretty sure it is consistent where it's... I don't know if it's always right, right, left, but I think it is the same and then it changes or something. I don't know, it's something weird. We'll poke Hidden Power. I don't know why they... I know it's Hidden Power, it's like, ooh. But like, I don't really understand why they obscure it from you in-game. It's kind of annoying. What's up, Space Cowboy? So I forget, do I have to interact with this thing first? Forget the order of operations here. Get invisible. I don't even know if I have to do that. I'm pretty sure I can just head over here. Yeah, we see Steven over here. I kind of wish this tune was a little more upbeat, personally, but still gets the vibes across. Oh god. Are there TMs to buy here? Did I make that up? I obtained a proclamation, wow. Secret base. Why do I seem to remember TMs being sold here? Maybe... what is my favorite trainer class here? The Pokemon Rangers, and I really like the Gen 5 Rangers. I guess the Gen 3 Rangers don't look that dumb, but... Expert's like an old guy. Street Dog. The black belts from this gen are pretty iconic, I gotta say. I'll go Ace Trainer. Yeah, I don't know, like, my intent is not to be like a party pooper when it comes to Gen 3 or anything. Or like these games in particular especially, but it's like... I've said it in the past, like, these aren't... As much as I like Hoenn, and I think it's interesting, and I know it really well, it's just not either the originals or the remakes. It's like, they're not really games that I, like, come back to with some regularity, and that's, like, that's not by accident, you know? Like, it's just... I don't know if it's because I've just played them too many times, but... I mean, man, if I had my original, like, 3DS statistics as far as, like, playtime on the DS games, dude, and that was post getting my 3DS, not even the time I would have put in the years prior to getting my 3DS, like, playing on DS. Like, I almost feel like I probably have more time put into, like, Gen 4 especially than I do Gen 3, I would think. There's not, like, an easy way for me to tell, but, like, yeah, like, tons of playtime. You know, the 3DS eventually had a good library, but for a good while there, and during the lulls, it would be going back to DS games primarily, and most of the time it was Pokemon. I don't even really want to fuck with this, though. Like, my team isn't really hurting for moves, so any TMs I could find would be wasted. I know I gave myself AV and choice items, but those are normally Battle Resort exclusive in this game, so, like, it's not like I robbed myself of finding them naturally. If you could find them naturally, I would prefer to do that. But knowing that you can't... Also, did I just miss... Oh, maybe it's because I didn't do the interview with them. I don't know. That they didn't move, you know? Ba-ba-da-bee-ba-boo-bee. But yeah, this is a solid hack, though. I mean, it's a hell of a lot more interesting than vanilla, because these fights would just be not, like hardly anything. And plus, a lot of even some of the cool shit that I've had access to thus far would probably be inaccessible also. Though, I don't know, I do think it's still kind of lame to, like... Maybe it's a coding limitation with the 3DS games, because this is Dre's only 3DS game, but I would have much preferred if you had replaced some overworld items with, like, the evolution stones, and, like, some of the things you can buy. Because, like, I could have waited to get the Sunstone naturally. I think it was in the desert, right? Or something? Wherever I got it. To evolve Helioptile. And granted, at that point, Helioptile was vastly outclassed, so it's like... It's just not gonna... It just wouldn't come out, basically, if I couldn't evolve it right away. But it is a little anticlimactic to, like, just go to Slateport, buy a Sunstone, and that's that, you know? Again, though, like, I made the decision to do that, to be fair, because it is elsewhere as well. I think. Right, I feel like I picked up a Sunstone later, but I don't know if I would have sold it, or if I could check my inventory now or not. I don't know, either way. Got the Blazikenite. I don't think Blaziken needs the Mega, though. Blaziken's already, like, pretty strong as is, so I think I'd rather just run regular. And then you do Mawile or Altaria eventually as my primary Mega. I think we just go straight to the gym. It's funny, some video I watched recently basically went over the fact that the Elite Four in Gen 3 only actually checks for Badge 6. I think that it was this gen, because it's the only gym that you can actually skip. Since Fly is, like, not a mandatory HM. I don't even know... How would you do that? I mean, I'm glad HMs are gone, first of all. But... I'm like, how would you make Fly mandatory? I guess you could just have it be, like... kind of like a rock climb sort of thing, where it's like, oh... There's a thing up there, or like an area up there. Use Fly to carry me up there, kind of thing. But it's really just like fast travel. And yeah, like the ultimate moveset would be 100 base power is pretty good. I mean, 2 turns is bad, but the AI in these games is pretty dumb, so like I can pretty easily get away with yeah, I think I keep Moonblast for now. Just for coverage against her opposing Altaria, or like Hawlucha maybe, or Honchkrow. Like, there's some things I would want it for. Grass Knot. Grass Knot on Gren is interesting, because it would... makes me resistant to Grass and Electric in one. Not great for Winona, but in the long term, I don't hate it. Like over Rock Tomb, maybe? Yeah. Maybe Sneak is a dud. Like, I don't know, maybe Shadow Sneak is, like, unnecessary, but I kind of like it for admittedly niche situations, but situations nonetheless. I could use these rare candies to top everybody off to 48. But it's a little wasteful because they're very close to leveling up anyway. Alright, 6th gym. The boss fights have been really easy lately, so I'm kind of like... try to keep the trainer fights to a minimum until it becomes something where I feel like I'm at less of an advantage. I did get my next video recorded, which is exciting. It's in production. What am I switching to this? I guess Langolier, unfortunately. Fortunately, Altaria doesn't have like a great way of dealing with this. That was an even better switch than I anticipated. I just play rough. Yeah, I don't know, I feel... I know this is still pre-Renegade, and I keep blazing Renegade Platinum. But, like, I don't know, I'm, like, a little disappointed in, like... Oh, she has 3 months, okay. It's just, like, certain things where I'm, like... Maybe it is, like, Gen 6 limitations or something, or whatever, but there is something about Renegade that I think struck, like... Not necessarily the right balance in terms of, like, game balance, but in terms of, like, what was changed, what wasn't, what was added in terms of scenarios. Like, it was just, like, the right... Maybe it's lightning in a bottle, like, just, like, the right amount of ROM hacking being done, kind of deal. I kind of want to switch in Strife to try to get some EXP. I also don't know what this thing is going to click, because I resist the dual stab. So Heat Wave, maybe? Doesn't this thing get Heat Wave? That was a little... That was a little provocative there. What would we go for now? Psychic move, maybe? Oh, Gren. Let's go Gren, and let's go... Sven. Oh my god. I'm kind of glad it seems like they're not going to do another Let's Go game. Because, I mean, I actually kind of enjoyed Let's Go Pikachu. I mean, that's the game that... That was the straw that broke the camel's back to get me to buy a Switch, funny enough. But that was also, like, sort of still during that time where, like, Pokemon... I was, like, coming back to Pokemon really, like, the year before, but... After, like, kind of stepping away from it for, I guess, a year or two, really. It really wasn't that long, but it was, like, what? ORAS came out, I was kind of, like... I played through it, played through it twice. But I think, like, 2015... I can't remember exactly, but I kind of doubt that I played a ton of Pokemon at that time. And in, like, 2016, same deal. Skipped it on Sun and Moon at launch. Grabbed it the following summer. So I guess you could say, like, somewhere between 2 and 3 years. Where really I fell off. But it was more so... Like, Sun and Moon were kind of like the... When I played them, I think it was summer of 2017. Right, when I played Sun specifically, I should say. Because I don't do the thing where you buy both versions for no reason, but... what is the purpose of that? Is it because do I have to come back through here somehow? I don't get it. But yeah, it was more so like randomizers, ROM hacks, nuzlocking, shit like that. That kind of brought me back in. So I guess maybe it was less than like 2 or 3 years because, but like in terms of like playing mainline, like, you know, like new Pokemon shit, I guess. I don't know. I'll just keep leading Altaria. What was I saying though? I don't remember what my point was. I do not remember. I apologize. The Con Guard here, see what's up. Brave Bird. This probably still does a lot. Actually, surprisingly, no. Yeah, it does even... Everybody is Thrash 120 in this gen? Maybe it is. Yeah, I really don't remember what I was getting at prior. I know I've told these... People who have watched like all my Pokemon stuff, my playthroughs, will probably have heard a lot of these stories a number of times by now, but you know, you just never know when new folks are coming in or watching for the first time or don't have an interest in going back to older stuff or like whatever. I mean, I don't really care like either way too much. Whether you go back and watch my older streams or not, it's just like they're there if anyone's interested, but it's more like, yeah, more like what I just said. But yeah, so like the next vid, which I already, it's in my like community post for the month on Raido Remastered, that's in production. I'm still playing Path of Radiance. I'm like past the halfway point now. Chapter 16, I think. And it's still great. It is still great. My powerhouse units are really, really like escalating to a point where I'm like, can they be stopped? I do not think so, but it's kind of fun in that way because I know Radiant Dawn's gonna kick my ass. So, oh, that's right. This is fighting type in this, isn't it? It's unfortunate. I'm gonna have to go back and heal, or like, you know, use revives to heal or something before Winona anyway. Oh, and I'm not Intimidate, and I kind of like thought that I was gonna get an Intimidate drop. So that did a shit ton for a resist. Oh my god. That's worth. It's worth it to get chip on this, I think. There's no way I don't outspeed, right? We're 3 levels higher, perfect IVs. I don't want to talk about it too much if I decide to go through with it, but it's like there is a video idea that like came to mind that I might do, like depending on how quickly this Raido video comes together. I might throw together this other video so that something goes up like while I'm away, and then I can worry about doing the Path of Radiance video just by the end of August, instead of like pressuring myself to like get it done as soon as I get back. The second week of August, but I'm still not totally sure. I need to brainstorm it a little bit more, and like, it's an interesting idea that I had though. And I don't know, I guess to field it just because like, I don't think there's any harm in like, at least, you know, so, like I like to keep some things, you know, a surprise as far as like my detailed thoughts on things and stuff like that. Like if someone asked me like, hey, would you recommend, you know, whatever game it is that I might be, you know, might be playing and might do a video on kind of thing, it's like, you know, I'll still like answer those kinds of questions. I can talk about that stuff, but it's more like, especially if I haven't recorded something yet, I like to kind of save it for when I sit down to record for a video, just because it's fresher that way. Oops. Oh, nice. But even when the video is recorded, I don't want to like go ahead and hash out all my talking points on Raito Remastered as a video is going to be coming out in within the next week kind of thing, you know. I like to save it for that. Then again, it's like, you know, maybe two different audiences, depending on who wants to pop into the streams, who's watching the VODs versus who's watching the main uploads, etc. Let's fight Winona. And then maybe I'll talk a little bit more about my idea. Winona, not a common name. I do wonder. I know Winona Ryder is an actress who was probably prominent at the time of this game's release, or, you know, like in the 90s or something like that. I think. I don't know what she was in, but that probably could have been a factor in naming this gym leader Winona. Maybe not. I've always liked her, like, sort of Valkyrie looking helmet and stuff like that. She's got a very interesting design. Goated lead on my part. The issue is, like, it might Brave Bird. But I think I live a Brave Bird if I bulk up. I kind of just want to flame. I know it's sturdy, but maybe it'll set up spikes. Like, this for sure brings it down to sturdy. If I burn it... Okay, never mind. Citrus goes for rocks. Classic. Also, you guys already know how I feel about the T-posing Scarm. It's stupid as hell. Does not go for a potion. So we get our first kill. We're going to be at +2. Goes on a haunch. I don't think I one-shot this. So I think I just go into my dark resist here. Plus, I don't know, I think Mega Altaria will be a little more interesting, because like, I can keep Intimidate around, you know? And also it like changes type on Mega Evolution, so there's like some interesting play there. Oh my god. I'm like, yeah, that had to have been a crit, because you're at -1. I know Honchgrow's strong. Honchgrow, my boy. Or, yeah, it's a girl in this case. But yeah, Honchgrow looks okay, actually. It's really just the mons that are just kind of like floating there like that. I don't mind them flying in place, but I do think it's more interesting. Okay, it's fucking super luck. I think it's literally super luck, maybe even with the scope lens, like straight up. So, fair enough, I guess. I thought maybe I would live, and I think I would have if it didn't crit. I just T-bolt. Like, maybe she has a Gliscor, or... Okay, are you like Wakanberry? I think you still die, maybe. Or Specs. It's Wakan. Yeah, but I don't know if the crit mattered, though. Base 109 special attack with spectacles. But we take those. Goes into the flame with broken... Oh, right, it's just faster. Whoops. Well, that's a sec. Yeah, because we're weaker to fire because of dry skin. That was a misplay. I was expecting Gale Wing's Brave Bird to come out, but I think, yeah, it just does outspeed. Just outspeeds me. Whoops. Dang it, if only I had an Intimidate on. Well, I guess it would have been Mega, so... whatever. Let's go into Alt. Yeah, rocks. I Cotton Guard and, like, just... Oh, right, Broken Brave Bird, that's right. Broken Gale Wings. Okay, we live. Also, because gym leaders use 2 Hyper Potions, I'm going to use a Hyper Potion here. I do not care. Yes, I probably would lose if I didn't, because I made some pretty big misplays. I kind of want to Cotton Guard up again, but maybe I should just Strength. It depends on how much this does. If it gets it back down to half, it was worth it, but it's very bulky. Wow, okay, I'm gonna Cotton Guard again then. That's a little unfortunate. Yeah, we don't have Roost on this either. I don't have a Brave Bird Resist, is the problem. And I still have one more potion use if I want to stick to that rule. So I'm kind of like... yeah, why don't I just let you get yourself low from recoil? No, but it's Gale Wing's Roost, though, so it has priority in that way. Where, like, I'm never going to outspeed it, but I can get a free switch into something, though. What is Talonflame's base speed? This is the only thing I'm going to look up. I know it's fast. 126, maybe, right? This is the gen where, like, I don't know base stats as well as I should. Base 126. Holy shit. And Gren is what? Like 109? Or something? 122. Okay, well, Gren might outspeed. We're plus speed, nature. You're going for Roost, right? You're below half. You're fucking kidding me. We lived, though. But they also have priority, but I also have another potion I can use. Because I think I outspeed. In fact, if I live a Brave Bird, then I just Rock Tomb. Yeah. Rock Tomb comes into play, exactly. That's why I kept this on here. Easy one-shot. I just had to get a safe switch into this. There's a lot, like, this is probably my worst played gym match. Honestly, it could... Doesn't this thing get Magic Guard or Magic Bounce? So I don't really want... Well, if then again, if I Toxic, I'll be immune to Toxic. So, like, if it bounces back, it doesn't matter. But even so, I think I just Rock Tomb here. Yeah, that does a lot. Psychics. We should live that. Yeah, that is very strong, though. Scald might have killed. It's possible. I don't know Sigilix stats like that, though, so I don't... Are you gonna Mega? That is the question. I think I had Toxic. No? Maybe? Maybe Rock Tomb is just better to set up for Azula to come in and click what, though? It kind of walls. Yeah. I could burn it with Dompe if I don't Toxic it, so like maybe I should just Rock Tomb and see how much it does. They do, yes, okay, cool. So the gym leader's actually Mega then. That's sick. That is sick. And I know this isn't super effective anymore, but at least we lowered its speed to like ideally have Trevenant outspeed. Goes for EQ. And we burn it. This is basically like the set that I want to run. Assuming this is like DD and stuff, which is a little scary. But it means you're probably not running Flying Move. I mean, maybe it is. But I just will outspeed because of the speed drop. We burn. Yeah, it is DD. That's a little, it's actually a little scary, I'm not gonna lie. That is a little scary. I know it's burned, so like, but if it does get too many DDs, it is going to be a problem. It also gets a lot of defense. It gets like 20 points of defense on Mega Evo, I think, from 90 to 110. I think. What could this do? I could Cotton Guard. I guess I already used my two healing items, though, to be fair. I think I have to stay in and just Shadow Claw, like, and ideally I crit or something. Pixelate boosted Body Slam. You are burned. You are a bulky, you son of a bitch, aren't you? Okay, Hyper Potion's up. That's the last potion from her. I could get a Quick Claw proc. Roost? Wait, that's actually fine. I do think Burn was the right play over Toxic, but it's like if I crit... If I like... I know it's a niche thing, but like if I crit into Quick Claw or something like that, or if I just Quick Claw at all, that puts enough pressure on to where... Whatever I said... did that crit matter? I feel like maybe not. It's very low. She shouldn't have any more healing items. I think I just Flame. Yeah. And this thing goes down. Nice. That's sick, though, that they do Mega. I wonder how Tate and Liza is going to handle that, though. Because, of course, only one Mon can Mega. Mega Zam? Are they gonna have a Mega Zam? Because I'm like, what other Psychic-type Megas are there? I'm sure there's some I'm not thinking of. There's no Solrock or Lunatone or... Gardevoir, maybe. Maybe it is Guard. Guard or Gallade. No, because Gallade is gonna be Wally. Probably Guard EB or... Zam. Big Zam. Go on Brave Bird. I would take it over Cut, but... I loved the fact that Blaziken got Brave Bird in Gen 4. I thought that was so cool. But then again, it is cool to get like a strong coverage move like this of a type that, like, you know, is a coverage move, not like a stab move kind of thing. I don't think I have room for this though. I can always relearn it later if I want to. For opposing fightings. Beep up boop, beep up boop. But it's, I don't know, it's the same energy as like Staraptor getting close combat. And shit like that. Which will always be sick. We get Roost. So, you know. This is not a Nuzlocke, this is not a hardcore playthrough where I don't use items in battle, but if I am minimizing, if I'm matching the leader or Elite Four member, and I'm trying to think, do the Elite Four members have 4? Or is that only the champion who has like 4 full restores? I think I can look it up. I think Cerebi, like, specifies that. ORAS Elite Four. Cerebi. It doesn't say anything under items, but I feel like that's incorrect, though. Gym leaders, Cerebi. Because I feel like maybe Bulbapedia is better for this. I think the graphic isn't displaying, or like, let's see, like Sydney, for instance. Pokemon. Sydney has 2 full. Okay, it says Sydney has 2 full resource in Generation 3. It doesn't say anything about ORAS, but I would assume that if it is change in this hack, it'll probably be 2. I guess if I see him use more than 2, then I can just go ahead and use another one, but we're not even there yet, so it's chill. Yeah, I feel like Mega Gardevoir would probably make the most sense for Tate and Liza, because it's a Hoenn. And then, like, Wallace. What's a... I feel like Blastoise doesn't seem right. I feel like Pert you would save for, like, your rival. Sharpedo? No, because that's Archie. Let me look at Mega Evolutions real quick. Mega Evolution. Gara, maybe? I mean, I could look at the docs. I'd rather not be spoiled on that, though. It's probably Mega Gara. Just because the other water types, like Sharpedo is Archie, Swampert would be May, Blastoise doesn't seem right to me to give a Hoenn leader. One of the... I mean, I guess Gyarados is a Kantomon, but, like, at least it's naturally found in Hoenn still. Yeah, I doubt Tate and Liza have a Mega Mewtwo. It could be Bro. It could be Mega Bro. It could be Mega Gardevoir. It could be Mega Medicham. Metagross is Stevens. Galate is Wally's. The Lotties, no. But I feel like Brawly probably uses Mega Medi, because that's one of the few fighting types here. Fighting, fighting, fighting. Yeah, I feel like Brawly is probably Mega Medi. So I think it's Guardy. What does Roxanne use? Rock type. Is there even a rock type Mega? Diancie? Doesn't seem right. T-Tar? Fair enough. Alright, anyway. Yeah, cool to see Winona use a Mega in the main story. I'm glad that that was able to be changed for the sake of this hack. Even if there are, like, some things that I wish were... Like, you know, like I was saying, like, spreading some of the more interesting held items around, and... I don't know, like, we were kind of, like, on par. Her team was... The level cap was 48, and I was, like, barely above that, if that. There are a lot of trainers between here and Tate and Liza, so I would assume that level gap is going to be higher. But there's also a lot of training opportunities against Team Aqua. And I'm wondering, though, like, is it like the EXP formula in this gen that just makes leveling up so quick? Like, because I've not been underleveled at all here, and that's unusual. A Raptor. Brawly. yeah, Brawly or Broly, right? They're actually brothers. Yeah, the Super Sandwich. He's true Super Saiyan. Those who know, know. Wait, Staraptor looks kind of sick, though. Like, the fact that, like, these feathers here are kind of like a separate thing that move. It's kind of sick. You don't... it's hard to really tell that kind of detail from a sprite. I probably need to look at its Gen 5 sprite, though. But that's a good... That's a good 3D model right there, I gotta say. Staraptor and Hitmontop. There's two. There's two for you. I mean, there's others, but, like, yeah. Can Mawile stop getting crit by Brave Birds? Find out on the next episode. Staraptor. Sprites. Is it Pokemon DB that has... What? Dude, what website is it that has the moving sprites for Mons? Because, like, I don't... I thought there was one. But I can't remember. Maybe Bulbapedia? Sprites? Okay, I've got the Gen 4... Okay, yeah, it's moving. Okay, yeah, in the Gen 5 sprite, it's easier to tell. In the Gen 4 sprite, I can kind of tell. In the Diamond and Pearl sprite specifically. Platinum and HGSS, not so much. That, like, that layer of feathers is, like, a separate thing. But in Gen 5, like, it is easier to tell because it kind of moves. God, Gen 5's anime... Like, obviously there's room for improvement in that style, but, like, dude... I love that look of, like, just sprites with idle animations kind of thing. For turn-based RPGs, you know? Like, what Dragon Quest game introduced that? I'm sure, like... Because a lot of the Final Fantasy titles... Like, part of the reason why I want, like, FF6 to get HD 2D remade is because even in the pixel remasters, like, a lot of the bosses, or most of the bosses, if not all of them, and, like, the enemies, like, they are still static, which is, like, it's not, like, a huge deal breaker or anything. FF6 is a great game. What is going on here? Despite those kinds of things, but it's, like, it would be nice to see that kind of thing. Maybe it was the DS games, like, added that in to 4, 5, and 6, or something like that. I still hope the Super Famicom games get, like, official re-releases and stuff. I know they're on mobile, but, like... You think I'm playing a... Like, no offense to people who play mobile games or anything, it's, like, fine. It's just, like... If you know me, you would know that, like... I'm not really interested in playing mobile games, by and large. I don't have a great way to hit this because it's raining. Bum bum ba-da-dum bum bum. Like, in time with the music, just zooming in on Meganium's, like, derp ass phase. If it's a fairy type, Ironhead is my play here. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is that it might have been the re-releases. Because there's that one channel, maybe there's multiple, that does, like... He goes over, like, the different versions of a lot of games. And, like, Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest are some that have had, like, so many re-releases. That's not a fairy type in this. Why? Interesting. Do we see Mega Meganium this week? When's the Pokemon thingy? Tomorrow? You guys ready for Pokemon Sleep 2? I almost googled Pokemon Sleep. Pokemon Presents. Yeah, it is tomorrow. That's cool. What time is it at? 6 a.m. Pacific. Alright. Metal Burst. Cool move. Don't think I have room for it in this moveset, though. It's basically like... Does it do two... It's like counter, right? but like for any move, I think. Yeah. It's more for like defensive steals. Oh, Milotic. Milotic probably would have been on the team if I had gone with the Rain squad. This was a consideration before I thought about adding like Gen 6 mons. Like if it wasn't Gren on the team, I would have Milotic, I think. Because I like this mon a lot. Getting it in actual Gen 3 is a pain in the ass, though. It was, I think it was. I don't know how it wouldn't have been. I think it was the last Pokemon I got in the regional decks when I completed the Ruby regional decks way back when. Although I think getting a Feebas in Gen 4 is worse. Maybe. It's really rough in both gens, honestly. Yeah, now I keep hearing more and more rumors about, like, DQ7 getting some kind of remake. Which, like, wasn't it remade on 3DS, though? So I'm like, is it gonna be that again, or are they doing something different? And I hope that doesn't mean that they... I'm sure that they'll eventually do 4, 5, and 6 and stuff like that, but... I think I have to switch out. This thing's too much of a threat. Mismagius is a mon that I want to use at some point. In like a Gen 4 playthrough of some kind. Because I think this mon's cool. I do. But I'm also kind of a ghost type fan. I don't have anything to hit this, that's the problem. I mean, I can Moonblast, but it has high speed F, so like... What would you go for here? Dazzling Gleam? I can go Langolier, I guess. Spite? Interesting. Okay, well there goes Sucker Punch's PP. Are you a fairy type in that? Like I don't know what. Like I think in Renegade it is Ghost Fairy. Okay, it is Ghost Fairy here as well. Destiny Bond. I would consider it over Rock Smash, but the rest of these moves are too necessary. That's a move that's better suited to like competitive play anyway. Raichu. I can just go Dompe. Oh yeah, I forgot. I kind of forgot that I was talking about the potential idea for a video of some kind that I had. So like, I talked about maybe a few months ago at this point, like potentially wanting to squeeze a Persona 5 Royal replay in this year. And for a while I was planning to do that. Partially just to like replay it, but like also to like I was gonna clean up the achievements that I was missing along the way, which weren't really that many. Until I realized that I had like a save file that allowed me to actually do all but one of the achievements, and the last one I just had to like blitz through the first arc, which I just did on easy to just like get through it, and even then it took me a few hours because of how chatty that game is. But even with skipping everything, it was just like took forever. But did like ace your exams or whatever, I think was the last thing that I was missing at that point. But point being, I was gonna replay it, and then in jumping into it, like for that achievement cleanup or whatever, I was kind of like, I don't know that I want to commit to this. And I've been thinking more and more about it since then of like, why is that? You know? Because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed P5R quite a bit. when I first played it and all that. But the prospect of replaying it has become like less and less enticing, but I kind of think it's partially just to like oversaturation of P5 shit. I know some other channels have done videos sort of like that, of like, you know, P5 needs to die, or like it needs to go away, or like we need, you know, new shit or whatever, and it's like, yeah. I think it's a little more than that, but not to like to go over too much of what I might say in a potential video, but like, I jumped back into Persona 5 Strikers this weekend to do some achievement cleanup. And yeah, I've been skipping through the story stuff to play on New Game Plus or whatever, for the sake of like grinding out Bondi XP and shit. But, 'cause that shit's absurd, like, actually, how slow you gain it in the late game. But yeah, or like, even like, whatever. Anyway, I've been enjoying playing it, but there's still like P5 isms in there that like, where I'm kind of like, I'd be more likely to give it the time of day in terms of story just because it's a lot shorter. I think that's part of it. I think it's a number of factors, but I've had this idea of like, because the plan was replay P5R and P5S and then like do better videos on them than I did in the past. In retrospect, I kind of wish that I had kept the older videos up, but they were pretty rough from a production standpoint, so like I kind of justified it to myself as being a good decision. And plus, like, a lot of my... I've also talked about P5 quite a bit in relation to, like, P3R and, like, in my character tier lists and stuff like that, so... And in my streams, I've talked about it, too, which, like, you know, that's... A lot of that's buried, for sure, for the most part, but it's there. So... But yeah, I kind of had this idea of, like, well... If I am playing P5S, like Strikers, Persona 5 Strikers, just kind of like chipping away at that separately from my replay of Path of Radiance and all that. And I don't know, it's like kind of putting me in the mindset of like maybe being willing to talk about it a little bit even without replaying P5R. But the thing is, really, like, a lot of the story kinds of stuff, maybe not the minute details, but, like, a lot of the story kinds of stuff in P5R are still, like, oh, random specs, are still very, like, I remember a lot about really just, like, the main factors that I would want to talk about, I guess. So, that's, like, an idea I had, because it's kind of like it's not... wouldn't really be a video on like a specific game that I had just played or replay like I usually do. More so be kind of like conceptual and kind of like more so about how I feel towards like Persona 5 as a brand at this point and stuff like that, but I'm still like kind of 50-50 on whether I want to do it or not. I think I might jot down some notes and just like see if it would be substantive enough to warrant doing. And also, like, it would kind of allow me to maybe discuss some of the things that haven't made its way into my other Persona-oriented videos by, like, you know, as, like, tangents or comparisons or whatever. Is there anything over here? So yeah, I don't mind fielding that idea before committing to it, just because I might not do it, but I'm just kind of torn, I guess. Because, like, yeah, that would give me a video I can put out in the interim while I'm, like, still playing through Path of Radiance and all that. Although that is a lot of Mega 10 videos back to back, and then, like, I don't know when the next Megami Tensei video I would do is. Because we just, like, don't know of anything that's coming. I guess it would ideally be Persona 6 announcement-related things, but we just... who knows? I don't even know... I mean, I guess I could touch on this in the hypothetical video, but, like, I don't even know... I mean, we haven't seen anything of P6, so I don't want to judge it preemptively, but at the same time... there's some things that I'm like... I would be a little concerned about if P5 is any indication. But that's also coming from someone who doesn't think P5 is, like, the greatest JRPG of all time or anything like that. So... and I know there's a lot of people out there that do, so... it could just be concerns that are specific to me, for the most part. But it's also, I don't know, it's not like... I guess it's the kind of thing where I've talked about before, where, like, P3, I've kind of come around on P4 a little bit. I think there is some stuff in that game that I'm still, like, kind of iffy on, but, like, there is... I do like it, though. It's just, like, a not insignificant, not, like, the most important thing, but, like, a not insignificant reason why P3 and P4, I think, work for me is because of the time periods they're set. And I'm a little wary because there's some things in P5, because of when that game is set, loosely, we don't have an actual date for some, like, they don't give you an actual year in the game, but, like, to estimate, you know, it's usually around when the game comes out. Maybe it takes place a few years after the game comes out. Like, P3 was, like, what, 09? It took place in 09, but it came out in 06. P4 took place in 2012, but came out in 08. You know, so what, P5 takes place in 2018 or 19 or something like that, and it came out in 2016. Like, and so I'm like, I'm a little nervous, I guess, about how I, a nearly 30-year-old man, am going to relate to or potentially enjoy a game that stars, like, that takes place in a post-2020 landscape. You know what I mean? In terms of, like, the prevalence of, like, social media in the game and, like, things like that that I don't really touch in my everyday life, you know? Like, I have a couple of personal social media accounts, but, like, I don't ever fucking go on there. Really. Maybe for, like, some networking purposes occasionally, but, like, really just not. So, like, I don't know. I just think people... it's been so long. It's been nearly a decade since P5 came out in Japan. I know most people didn't play it until 2017, and then even more in 2020, and then it's, you know, continued to sell, blah, blah, blah. Right? Came to all platforms in 22, stuff like that, so... But the thing is, like, I... stylistically and thematically and aesthetically and, like, all those kinds of things, I'm very interested to see what it does, and what it looks like, and how... maybe they shake up the formula a bit or something. Hopefully a lot of it, ideally. But I am, like, wary of it in terms of, like, from, like, a setting in terms of time, really. But in terms of that, and in terms of, like, maybe narrative, like, because of that, I guess. But if rumor has it that it is going to be more environmentally focused, that could actually be kind of interesting, though. Because I feel like P5 already tackled a lot of, like, social media isms and stuff like that, and I'm like, I just don't really... That's, like, a pitfall of setting games in, like, modern times these days. Whereas, like, back in the 90s or early 2000s, it was, like, really novel, because most RPGs were, like, fantasy or sci-fi straight up. And so I was like, oh, you know, whether it's the Mother series or SMT, it's like, that was really novel and interesting at the time. But now we see more and more and more of that. I feel like. And it's just not as interesting to me as a game that is set in like the 90s or early 2000s or something. Like something that's more of, even if it's fictional, like if it's something more of like a period piece from that time where technology was a little more limited and stuff like that, you know? Or you go in the extreme direction and you go sci-fi straight up, but there's definitely some kind of bias at play in terms of that, you know? But I don't know, as someone who doesn't really care for a lot of the kind of like general cultural kinds of things these days in terms of social media specifically, like I don't really engage with it, I don't really care for it, I kind of wish that it didn't exist to a certain extent. Of course you could argue YouTube is social media, it's, yeah, I guess, but to me it's like sort of a, I don't know, I guess it depends on how you use it, to be fair, but I guess you could say the same thing about Instagram and shit, but I'm like, I don't know, man. This shit's so fucking vapid and just like if you just use it to keep in touch with friends and family and you're actually just using it to post and share it like in a non-toxic way, like whether it's toxically positive or negative, like just, if you're just like using it to share with your like actual people that you know and shit, I think that's cool and fine. Probably healthy to a degree, I guess, to help keep in contact with distant, like, you know, like literally distant, like family or friends, like you don't live near. But in terms of like all the fucking clout chasing and just like rage bait and like all this kind of shit that like, I know it's been around to like a certain degree for a long time. Right, it's not like trolls didn't exist. It's just like the trolls are getting paid now. That's the difference. Was that the resist sound or am I crazy? Okay, I'm crazy. And I usually don't pay it too much mind, which is why it like doesn't, it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind for me. Like I just kind of do my own thing and hope people like it and stuff like that and try to be, you know, as genuinely myself as possible within reason in a way that doesn't like exhaust me, you know? But I don't know, I'm not trying to get like all doom and gloom and shit, but because it's really just, it's really not that serious in a certain sense. In terms of like, is this game set in modern times going to incorporate these things? And like it's fitting and like there is a lot to say about it, I get it, but I don't know. I think part of it is like, with Persona it's a little different because it's like not as much of like a grand adventure, but like, you know, when like Pokemon now has like the Rotom phones and shit like that, and like that's fine, I get it and stuff like that, but it's also like, I feel like you kind of, it's easy to lose the sense of adventure, I should say, when you have that kind of communication. In sci-fi usually it's like, oh, we're out in the middle of the galaxy and like there's not an easy way to contact us kind of thing. Like there are ways around it in terms of that, but yeah, I'm trying to switch train and it's probably not a good idea. I should just go this. I don't know if I'm making sense or like if I should have even brought this up, but it's just, I don't know. It's like I'm not perfect either, but it's just like I just wish people would be willing to just have like genuine conversation with one another instead of everything either having to be irony poisoned or just like hate filled and like aggressive, I guess. I could bulldoze this. I guess Rock Move is a little dangerous, but this thing's also pretty weak. I could also Cotton Guard once if I'm really that concerned about it. Oh, we've got the safety goggles on, yeah. Is this like Endure Custat Metal Burst or some crazy shit? Oh, it has Kirby's Avalanche. We did Cotton Guard though, so we're chilling. And you know, honestly, like, for as much as I'm like not in love with this game or anything, right? As I've hashed out a lot, maybe too much. It is still something that I look forward to, because I do genuinely enjoy streaming. I like chatting with y'all. I mean, I have like some real world stuff that like happened today that I'm dealing with, so I'm like maybe not in as good a mood as I normally would be, but it's also a good way to like kind of distract myself, I guess, and yeah, like it is something where like broadly speaking, I've talked about it before, I enjoy the loop of Pokemon of like building a team and like kind of going through it. It's just that sometimes like the moment to moment in instances like these where like everyone's fully evolved already, movesets are mostly finalized already, it's like this is kind of the point where it's easy to sort of lose interest, I think. Because part of the exciting part about like the early and mid game of Pokemon is like things are constant, like you're getting a new evolution or you're getting a new move or you're getting a new held item and like there's new TMs and like you're constantly, pretty much everything that you get is like, maybe not everything, but like most things that you're getting are like significant team building tools at your disposal. But if you're playing a casual playthrough and you're not like doing a Nuzlocke of some kind, where, you know, your team is changing, you know, constantly in a setting like that. But, yeah, it's like, and then, like, you're fighting these trainers who, like, don't really pose that much of a threat, and it's, like, a little repetitive, and it's kind of just there to grind you up for the next boss, you know, kind of deal. I know that's kind of JRPGs in general, kind of. I talked about this last time a little bit, so I won't get into it too much in detail. But yeah, because then, like, and then you ask, like, well, why does it work better in, like, other cases? And I think it's more so because in a lot of other series, you usually have more than one party member on the field at a time, which goes into all of the single battle limitations in terms of a JRPG, and why these kinds of systems I think are better suited to competitive play than in-game personally, which is why it was nice that Arceus did use like a different battle system, and it's cool that ZA is using a different battle system and stuff like that. To sort of shake things up and make it more appealing from a single-player perspective, like single-player campaign, like JRPG-driven perspective. My hope is that, like, what am I going to go into on this? I guess this. My hope is that ZA doesn't, I guess we'll see tomorrow, right? Doesn't like remove things like held items and abilities. Like obviously they're gonna need new functions in terms of the new combat system, but like keep the layers, you know? Keep the depth in terms of like Pokemon like build crafting. Because there's actually quite a bit you can do, even without EVs and IVs. That adds a whole nother layer for competitive play, yeah. Right? Like, you know, you want to be defensively invested or offensively invested, and like the different ways that you can do that, and like EV investing to live like a certain move from a certain mon that's prevalent in the meta, or like if it's a draft league or something, you know, building to specifically counter in a Pokémon you're expecting your opponent to bring, or like whatever, you know? Like there's all sorts of minute things with that, but even in terms of like what I keep saying with Mawile, it's like, okay, do I want to run Mega, or do I think Mega Altaria is better? And then in that case, do I run AV on Mawile, or do I just go Choice Band and try to like sort of split the difference between regular Mawile and Mega sort of deal by doing that? Like, is the damage output even like worth it? Or do I do AV to be a little more defensive, but then I don't have a reliable way to heal, really? It's like, there are a lot of considerations. And that's what I mean, I guess, when I say that, like, building a team, even in this way, in a casual playthrough where it is, I know who I'm going to catch, I catch them, I train them up, and I play through the game. That's why that process is still interesting to me, because the build crafting in Pokemon is really good. A lot of it's really tedious if you want to actually be, like, super efficient. The good thing is that that is hardly, if ever, necessary in-game, even in a lot of ROM hacks. Like, there are ROM hacks out there where, like, yeah, maybe you probably should be EV training, or, like, what, you know, re-rolling for IVs and shit like that. But, like, that's going to appeal to, like, a very niche crowd, I think. But again, like, there's really, like, only so much you can do with single battles in a, like, against a CPU. It's just a limited format. Love it competitively, I do. I want to start playing more competitive singles, because I don't really, like, get on Showdown as much as I would like. But, and I would like to, like, pick a format that I want to try to, like learn a little bit more. And stuff like that, but, or maybe, you know, dabble with a few formats, but, like, I'm not really, like, the biggest, like, team builder, I guess. Like, I've dabbled, but, like, I haven't really, like, super committed to it. But I think it's interesting. Like, building competitive teams is very interesting, because, especially on Showdown, you just have a slider where, like, I don't have to sit around and fucking, like, murder dozens of Zubats to get speed IVs or whatever it is, you know? Or EVs, sorry. Yeah, because I ain't doing that shit in-game. No fucking way. I would rather do, like, basically anything else with my time. And I will do some tedious shit in games for the sake of, like, if I want to just go out of my way to complete them or finish up achievements or whatever. I don't always do that. There is, like, there is a limit. But, yeah. And it also occurred to me, I was thinking about this. I think it's actually, like, for the better that Nintendo doesn't use an achievement system. Because it doesn't, like, because I kind of don't, like, I kind of do like the metagame in terms of hunting achievements, but, like, only in games where, like, I am invested and I want to see as much as I can that it has to offer, or I want an excuse to, like, spend more time with it, or I want to experience it more deeply so I can talk about it more deeply, kind of thing, right? Not saying that it's always worth it necessarily, and there are plenty of games that I've played that I do not do that in, hence, for example, like, most of the Yakuza titles, among others. But if it's a game that I already enjoy, and, like, the remaining achievements after a playthrough are, like, easy enough to check off, then, like, I might as, like, sure, fine. Maybe on a replay or something like that. That's usually how it goes. But I should probably go discover Lily Cove first. But I'm also forgetting, can you fly to Mount Pyre? Like, I almost feel like there are more landmarks that you can fly to these days. In this game. But yeah, I'm kind of glad that Nintendo doesn't do it, but it also, like, it's very much in their design ethos of, like, I almost wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo didn't have an internal sort of achievement sort of tracker to determine what players are engaging with and how much. But it's like, it's a natural garnering of data. It's not because like if you make that public and you make that something that players want to seek out, then that skews the data, because then there are people who will go after these things for the sake of it as opposed to doing it for fun or doing it for, you know, whatever, like really just like for fun. And I would believe that, I would bet Nintendo has some kind of data like that. I mean, certainly your playtime like is tracked and they can see that, but to determine like what aspect players are resonating with more so that they can make the next game something they resonate with even more or something, you know? Also, yeah, you can fly to Mount Pyre, which is nice. Yeah, so like that's just kind of like a sort of conspiracy theory, I guess, is that Nintendo might have some way to track that sort of stuff so they can more effectively like kind of cater their games to what people seem to be resonating with more. Yeah, with I don't know. Does that make sense? Oh, that makes sense. There's like an evolution stone back here, or... Oh. Why would I fight this guy? There's not like a... Oh, actually, surprisingly... But yeah, like an achievement system and stuff, it's nice to be able to like sort of track what you've done in that way. That's usually what I use it for. It's just like more data like on my playthrough kind of thing. And like most achievement lists are pretty comprehensive to where like if you complete the achievement list, you've probably seen all the game has to offer. Not always. Not always, but like most of the time. So, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it, because like I'll still like I don't have any problem with like replaying games or like for the sake of replaying them, even if like the achievement list is complete or whatever sort of thing. Like it's not even like that's not like the main motivator. It's just like an sort of an extra sort of metagame to play. In a sense. That is totally optional. And that I don't always go out of my way to do, but... sometimes, though. And the other thing, too, is, like... in terms of, like, a lot of the conversation around FF7 Rebirth, which I really thoroughly, like, enjoyed my time with overall. I had some criticisms, mostly in, like, the open-world checklisty kind of stuff. But, like... it is also all optional. I find it... the thing is, like, you do get good stuff from that, like, you know, like Team EXP or whatever it is, to, like, level up your, like, synergy abilities and shit. Like, I think it allows you to, like, unlock better synergy abilities or something. I don't know. I'm a good few months removed from that game, but... so I can't remember all the details. But... like, on the one hand, I get it, but, like, some people see and or hear about, like, the checklisty kind of stuff, and they're like, oh, this game is dog shit because it has this, and I'm just kind of like, well, in that case, just don't do it. Yet I did most of it. Really, I did, like, pretty much all of it, actually. I went back. The only thing I didn't do is, like, scoring the highest in the minigames, because I don't care about that. And that's exactly my point, is like, I did the other stuff because part of me, like, did kind of... like, I wish that it was more meaningful content in its place, or that there was less of it, yes. But, like, the reason I went out of my way to do it was because I was enjoying the game so much to begin with. Sort of thing. Like, I feel like the sort of completionist mindset is best when it's like additive to an like yeah, additive in that it's meaningful and that it doesn't waste your time and stuff like that, yes. But more so, I mean, like, I pretty much only ever do that kind of stuff in games that like I already like really enjoy for some reason or other. Like, it's kind of like a I guess it also depends, like, because sometimes even with games where like, because I guess I have completed achievement lists on games that I'm not like, that aren't like in my top 10 or something like that, right? But that just seemed manageable enough, and like I was enjoying it at least enough to justify doing it, even if it was just from a gameplay sense or something, right? Like Star Ocean 2 remake was one where like I wasn't like super like that into the story kinds of stuff there, but like and like, yeah, the combat is like sort of shallow and sort of basic, yeah, but it was still like kind of fun enough for me to justify going through multiple times for the sake of the achievement list. I don't know, that's one that I probably could have done without, but maybe that's a bad example. I think that was an example where like I probably wouldn't have bothered to go back and do that, so I was like, ah, well, I'm playing this, and plus it wasn't really that long either. I do have Fly on you and safety goggles to avoid powder moves. How long did I spend in Star Ocean? I feel like it was just like 30 hours or something like that. Star Ocean, 32 hours. That's like literally multiple playthroughs. That's like skipping all the dialogue on this subsequent playthroughs, yeah. But it's like a different story if that would have been like a 100-hour thing, you know, like that's a different thing. And if that's the case, it kind of has to be a game that like I really like pretty thoroughly enjoyed and like want some kind of excuse to spend more time in beyond like replaying it or something. And those kinds of things also make for good like podcast games, I guess. Because, you know, when I sit down to play Path of Radiance, I like am like solely focused on that because it's narrative driven and I want to pay attention to it because it's great. And I want to like kind of immerse myself in that experience. But with P5S, I'm just like, I've played this before already, and I'm not really like replaying it for the sake of re-experiencing the stories, so like I will throw like a YouTube video or a podcast on in the background as I go through it on New Game Plus or whatever. And like it is like that game is still like, even though it's a Musou, like it is fun to play. It does lean like a little bit more on the junk foody kinds of side of games, but it's more interesting than like other Musous that I've tried. And by that I primarily just mean Fire Emblem Warriors. But yeah. Oh my god. It was probably shift gearing. I'm like not paying attention right now. I'm like half paying attention to these battles because like it's just like not. And the thing is too, didn't I talk about this a few streams ago? Where like I don't want the opposite where every single battle is like a sweat fest. You know what I mean? Like that's the slippery slope I think when it comes to Nuzlocke for me. Is like I really don't want to be tryharding. How many battles do you do throughout one of these games on average, right? Like throughout that many battles, right? Like the battle system is like not for single player against the CPU. It's just not that interesting to warrant making every single battle life or death or like a boss fight, in my opinion. Maybe I'm playing the wrong hacks, like, I don't know, I guess, but like, it just... Oh, we can max out a Horn Leech, which is cool. Yeah, nice. I feel like 15 is kind of the sweet spot for like base PP power points on a move. Except for stuff like Toxic, where I'm probably not clicking that very often outside of boss fights. And same with Sucker Punch. I would like to max this. That would maybe be the next thing I max. Either that or Strength. Because yeah, Fly's probably not going to get clicked too often. But yeah, it is nice, since I can fly back to Mount Pyre specifically. Blah blue. Since I can fly back to Mount Pyre, you can do this loop a lot easier. In OG Gen 3, it would be better to, like, you know, unlock Lily Cove so that way you can fly back there. Because there's, like, so many alternate paths here. Also, thanks for the Eviolite when my Mons are, like, level 50. Thanks. Thank you for that. Very useful item. Very useful. Yeah, like, this is one of those routes where, like, I just don't often fight most of the guys here. I'll usually go through it because there are a lot of items, but yeah. In fact, can you fly to routes? I know I'm saving a shit ton, but I just feel like it, alright? Get off my back. Damn. God. Ah, shit. I wish you could... Yeah, I wish it worked like that. Oh well. But yeah, new releases, in terms of like new games, I know it's been kind of slow going for like my wish list, my tastes, I guess. Like Shadow Labyrinth I had my eye on. It seems like it's a little mixed reception, so I like don't... Like, I like the idea of supporting a game like that because it is very unique, and it's like a new spin on an very old IP. But I'm also like, I don't necessarily like need to play this right now kind of thing. So like, if I decide to play it at a later date, I'll grab it later. But like in terms of the side scrollers that I had my eye on this fall, like really Ninja Gaiden and Shinobi were like the main priorities. Because I think those two are going to be day one buys, like, for sure. Shadow Labyrinth was more of a wait and see. But I thought it looked interesting. But I don't know, I'm not in the position to, like, be able to buy every single game that I think looks interesting. And I also don't, like, yeah, vote with your wallet, yes. But, like, with the games you intend to play, ideally. Like, I don't really like the idea of... like buying a game strictly to support the devs as opposed to like if I'm not gonna play it right now, or if like a, you know, like it's like you have to look out for yourself to a certain extent. It's not like I couldn't shell out the 30 for it right now. It's just more like I'd rather just save that for Ninja Gaiden or Shinobi. Well, both, really, but yeah. And I've also kind of already got my plate full in terms of games I'm playing anyway. Yeah, we'll see if I decide to go through with that P5 video. I like the idea of it. I just need to figure out if it makes sense in execution, you know? So there's one more item there. Is there really nothing on this path? I guess not. Ba-da-da, ba-da. Ba-da. You can fly to routes. Is this gonna put me at which end though? Okay, yeah, I kind of figured it would do this. So really the play is to fly to Mount Fire. And I want to take like the upper path and then jump down to that. We'll see if the item's even worth it, but it's not really a big deal because it's relatively quick to get back there. And then, I mean, I could do Mount Pyre right now, that's true. I don't really need to go to Lily Cove right this second. Okay, sure, we'll just fight this chick. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-bum. I think this is also like there's not really cut trees past this point in the game either, which is nice, because then I can justify deleting that shit off of Blaziken. Just staying in Shadowclaw. Yeah, I think I'm trying to think of like where I'm gonna stop today. Maybe I don't do Aqua Hideout, we start with that next time. Maybe I do Mount Pyre, go to Slateport so they steal the ship, or the submarine, and then we actually like do Lily Cove stuff next time. I mean, I guess I could fight Meg for the last time, or, you know, last time. And, like, get the Altarianite and stuff like that, that's true. Because then I guess it would either be next time or the time following where I would do... Like, I would either do the Team Aqua stuff following Badge 7 or preempting Badge 8. Figure it out. But yeah, hoping for some interesting stuff at during the presents tomorrow. I'm not gonna like watch it live probably, but it would be cool to have cool stuff be revealed as usual. That should be obvious. It's right here. It's not terrible, actually. Wait, can I forget if... Can you click on the map and just, like... Yeah, okay, I thought so. That's kind of cool. This is the Safari Zone. I'm gonna go heal up at Fortree and then fly back to... what's it called? But I like this feature, actually. It would be cool if you could do it without having to teach something fly. But you know, that's how HMs work. It's just HMs suck. I don't know why this is comfortable. It's kind of not, though, actually. I'm gonna... I forget, can you... I feel like you can fly off the top of Mount Pyre, right? Banger alert. I don't know if there's anything worth getting in here, though. Because, like, this is a dungeon where... Oh, wait. No, right, they changed it, so you actually do have to go through... That admittedly was a weird thing in original Gen 3, where, like, you kind of didn't need to, like, you would just go to the left, and then it was a door that led to the outer section, like, almost immediately. And it was just like a totally optional dungeon, whereas I guess here you have to at least go through some of it. I'm curious how much Thunderbolt does to this. I know it's very bulky, but that did a lot. This is one of those mons that has terrible HP, but good defenses. Bum, bum. This is a cool mon. It's like so hard to justify using it over a lot of other ghost types, but it is a cool one. It'd be cool to like have a reason to use it in a Gen 5 playthrough, but like it's like over stuff like Golurk and Chandler and like some of these other ones. It's like it's hard to... I feel like Golurk's one of those mons that like I would like to use. I don't think I've used a Golurk on a team. Like, I guess aside from maybe like a randomizer or something, since like Gen 5 actually came out, I think. I want to say Golurk was like actually on my squad. This track goes super hard, man. Oh my god. Using the actual stick to like... Using analog movement to try to squeeze between one tile spaces is terrible. Yeah, I think this is the way I want to be going. Yeah. And then this is a banger too. Let me turn this shit up. I do have a repel up now. I think, like, arguably, though, I recognize that cry. Who's that Pokemon? It's Pikachu. Yeah, no, but, what's it called? I love how distinct the environments are. I do think, though, there is room to do more with these environments, yes. Arguably less so than, like, Gen 2 or something like that, though. Because, I don't know, I became, like, a little disenchanted with Johto the last time I played it. Because I really like that region, like, it's very cozy, and in concept, because of how traditionally Japanese it is, I really like that sort of vibe. But I do think that there's, like, much more that could be done there. Like, with that. The time to do that would have been HGSS, so, like, I get why some people are really hard on HGSS. Meanwhile, some people have a hard-on for HGSS. In the opposite case, but I feel like I'm sort of somewhere in the middle with it these days. But it still ranks pretty highly for me in terms of mainline titles, despite its faults. It's just, like, not the very top of the top. Well, this is not Gen 7, so we're not immune to Prankster. But I think it just scalded anyway. It can't attract me. But it can play rough, and it is neutral, thankfully. Like, look, I guess you could say that about, like, literally any game in existence. Like, oh, they could have done more with this, they could have done more with that. But it's like, I'm just trying to, like, extrapolate and sort of, like, dissect the reasons why I feel a certain way about certain games. Because, like, sometimes it's a feeling that you can't, like, quite express or, like, necessarily break down why it is that you feel or think a certain way about something. But I find that to be a very interesting part of the process. It's why it's part of the reason why I started doing YouTube, and part of the reason why I still enjoy doing it. $51. Who is furthest behind now? Apollo. But yeah, it's like, it's a shame that this is just like a one-off dungeon. It's like really, kind of short. You fight like a few grunts, and then there's like really no other reason to be here, which is like a little disappointing. Speaking of disappointing, singular Pokemon that I one-shot. Trevenant. There's something about, like, keeping my party in the order in which I acquired them that I like doing. I'll even do that in games where, like, party construction is more restricted, like in Persona or something. It's like, if I have any given set of 4, it'll usually be, like, you know, the earliest recruited to the latest. Just of whatever, I guess, 3 extra party members I'm picking for that dungeon run. Usually. Sometimes I don't give a shit, but yeah, I don't know. Could be Liquid Ooze. It's Shadow Claw. Tentacruel. Sludge Wave. I don't know about that animation, honestly. Just a banger. I still really wish that the battles like reflected how much of a banger the music is, because the music in this game is really like excellent in my opinion. Like, some of this shit is so good. Case in point. But it's like... the thing is, like, music is additive to an experience when it comes to, like, games and stuff. But I'm like, if it is, like, the main thing, like, for me, it's like... I don't feel like I need to play this game to experience the soundtrack, because I can literally listen to it on its own, kind of thing. Not that I would do that like terribly often or anything. This is not like a go-to soundtrack to listen to for me, but I could. Wait, does he actually takes the correct orb this time? Well, I guess he kind of has to, because it has to primal revert, right? But I thought... I need to stop trying to dissect this game's story, for fuck's sake. In the original Gen 3, they picked the opposite one, right? And that's what made them go crazy. But then you use the correct one to catch them... And it's not like it tames them, it just, like... You battle them and it allows you to get... I don't really know exactly what it does, actually. I don't know. I need to stop thinking about it. That's Submarine. Yeah, dude, if there was some way to port this game's OST into... some version of Emerald, that'd be great. That's like the main thing that I miss. Because there are plenty of Emerald ROM hacks that like include megas and stuff like that. So it's like, mechanically, you can get a similar experience to this game in actual Emerald via ROM hacks. Soundtrack though, not really. It's the same soundtrack, but it's like, it's just like, it's just GBA shit. Like, I just don't... Do I outspeed? Maybe not. No. Okay. 70% accurate? Is that right? I'm making really stupid plays for the sake of something. I'm also underleveled now, kind of. Oh, wow, wow. Barbaracle. Calosia and Garganackle. How about that? I like them knackles. Stupid. I love Blastoise with his hug pose. It's like, maybe you should have gone into the grass type like 2 months ago on the electric type. Is that, am I incorrect in thinking that? I think it'd be cool if Ferrothorn kind of like pulled itself back and slingshotted it at you for physical attacks or something. I don't know, this is just making me want to play the damn GameCube games, man. Like, it's cool to go back to these games after so long and, you know, play a ROM hack that I've never played before, too. But it's not really, like, doing a whole lot to change my mind on it. Which is fine. Can't expect that every single time, right? But it's nice, it's like, it's reassuring to feel like I'm not, like, you know, totally off base in terms of how I feel about these games. Yeah, so we can just go straight to Slateport. Slate to Straightport. They'll steal the sub. Then they'll be at the Lily Cove hideout. I'm kind of running out of steam. So I'm kind of thinking... I started the stream by saying, like, hey, this is, like, kind of one of my favorite stretches of the game. And, like, that's kind of true, but... It's more so, like, that route, like, aesthetically I like. All the back and forth when it comes to the evil teams is just... I don't know. It's hard to like this aspect where it's like, oh, they went back to Slateport. It's like, well, that makes sense. But also, like, what the fuck reason do I have to go back to Slateport? That's also, like, kind of a reason and an excuse to actually get Fly. It's almost like you would think there should be some way to connect from Mount Pyre south to Pacific Log or something, but there's a blockade preventing you going west of that town, so you can't, like, go to Tate and Liza early or anything. But, like, looking at the map, it's like, well, what if there was a way to go south and then you had an excuse to go through the currents on your way to Slateport and you show up right here, kind of thing. I don't know. Nothing's stopping me from flying still at that point, but... It's like the first half of the game, region-wise, like design-wise, it's interesting because the way it loops back in and connects. And then it, like, kind of sort of loses some of that later on. Oh, they don't play that theme. Okay. More like the tension theme rather than the panic theme. Followed you? Yeah. Because it'd be interesting if, like, they'd have to limit you from being able to use Fly or something, or not give you Fly until post-Aqua hideout or something, but like if there was a way, if you actually literally followed them like south of Mount Pyre and that somehow led into the ocean and allowed you to take that route where like the Reggie area is, that would also hint at like some dive stuff too over there, like with the Reggie dungeon. I don't know. Bum 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 bum. Also, they keep taunting us even though we keep beating their asses. Bum 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 bum. Viper. Also, I think it's crazy that people... It seemed like people started pointing out the whole void battle environments thing with Sword and Shield when, like... I mean, there's literally shit like this in the DS games, to be fair. But I feel like, as I've gone into in previous streams, it is strangely more excusable in terms of pixel art, though. But then, like, when you do 3D environments, it's like, well, if you're gonna do them, do them. You know? Like, I feel like having limitations in terms of pixel art is, like, kind of expected because it is just an art style. It is an art style and, like, or, like, a form of presentation or whatever. But, like, there are limitations that come from that. Whereas with 3D, it's like... I guess the limits kind of come down to what the hardware can do to an extent, but it's still like, because like the difference is like they're panning around this environment like it's interesting, right? Like this battle is actually interesting and things are going on. In the pixel art games, there was never like, yeah, black and white, it would like pan and zoom like a little bit, just like from a static angle. But like in Coliseum XD, Stadium, Stadium 2, Battle Revolution, you had these like handcrafted environments that reflected where you actually were. And so like the cinematic kind of movements and stuff like that actually were additive and like actually made more sense in that context. Whereas here it's kind of like, it's appreciated versus just being static, I guess, but then it's just kind of, you're putting a magnifying glass on your own, like, cut corners, basically. What's special about this hack? The usual kinds of Drayano stuff, so, like, most mons that weren't available in the vanilla game are catchable on certain routes, in addition to, like, easier access to evolution items and stuff. But of course, like, the difficulty's cranked up. Usually more interesting team comps, particularly from boss fights. What do I go into on this? I guess you. Like, you know, Winona Mega Evolved her Altaria, which normally in the vanilla game, I don't think the leaders Mega Evolve until their rematches, I want to say. But that's the main thing. It's mostly, like, gameplay updates. I don't think there's any, like, Gen 7 updates in here because this hack came out the same year that Gen 7 did. It's like, you know, Pelipper doesn't have Drizzle and stuff like that. It's like the changes, like, admittedly a lot of the changes are smaller in this hack compared to something like Renegade Platinum or some of the hacks of, like, some of the older gens that he's done or whatever. I think they have one post-game rematch configuration in ORAS, but I might be misremembering. I know in, like, Emerald you could rematch them at, like, different points in the story. Maybe you can't. What am I thinking of then? I don't know. Wait a second. Where's Bulbapedia? I don't think that was added to this hack. I think I'm just misremembering things. Roxanne, Emerald, ORAS. Oh yeah, maybe there's no rematches. Whoops. What was I thinking of then? I don't know what I was thinking of. Maybe I'm thinking of the Elite Four. I think I'm thinking of the Elite Four rematches, maybe. The point being, I don't think that the gym leaders normally Mega Evolved. But yeah, I'm more familiar with original Gen 3 compared to ORAS. Marino, I must have put... I would think I would have put like hundreds of hours. Maybe not like many hundreds, but like at least 100 or 2 or something like that. Which is a lot, mind you, into Gen 3 way back in the day. Whereas ORAS, I've only played through them. I think I've only played ORAS through like maybe like 2 or 3 times prior to this. I don't really have like a great switch into this. I mean, I guess I can just go Apollo, because I probably live whatever it throws out and kill with T-Bolt. But yeah, the main things, like usually with Dre's hacks, like usually it'll update gameplay things to like the latest gen kind of thing. So there's not many that applies to though, because a lot of his hacks are pretty old. Like I guess Sacred Gold, Storm Silver probably has some Gen 5 stuff in it. It's limited, like there's no like Gen 5 mons or abilities or anything, but like if a Pokemon had access to a move in Gen 5 that it didn't have access to in Gen 4, but the move still existed, then it has access to it kind of thing. Renegade is probably like the most notable though, because that was a 2018 hack of Platinum. So that has like a lot of, I guess like up to Gen 7 level of like changes, fairy types added, stuff like that. There are some added moves actually, because you just replace some of the ones that are like really shitty, like Barrage, stuff like that. Oh, he's offering to take me there? I mean, I have Fly though. Also, that's interesting. You can actually kind of skip part of the route to Lily Cove then, because he'll just take you straight there. It's odd. I'm gonna go... I don't really need to heal up, honestly. I'm just gonna fly here. Well, actually, there's like a nurse like on this route, actually. Yeah, we'll get on over to Lily Cove. I think I'm gonna save most of Lily Cove stuff for next time, and then we'll push for Tate and Liza and see what all I can get accomplished past that. Because then really, like, it is just Team Aqua into, like, there's not, like, yeah, we gotta defeat Team Aqua, like, properly after that, but the jump from that to Wallace is, like, not that long. It's like you're already in Sootopolis kind of thing. So wait, there's a double battle up here, yeah. Throw my 51s here. We'll discover the Safari Zone at least. Oh, there's no... Interesting. Bump, 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 bum, bump, bum, bump. Spinning and slacking. This is classic. Spinda. All right, so that's number 3. I'm sure I've seen plenty of 3D models that are like fine, or even like I think Altaria looks like kind of fine. Looks good. Like Spinda though, that's a good 3D model right there. I kind of want to just kill the Spinda, get it out of the way. So what is it? Spinda, Hitmontop. I said Staraptor looks pretty good, actually. Gotta love Protean. So it allowed us to live. Slacking will be truanted this turn. I'm a little wary. I mean, I think he's gonna click, play rough again, probably. So I'm gonna turn poison, anticipating that to try to resist. And you know, I wonder. I don't know that this would necessarily work with the current battling format, but I just had an idea where I was like, what if Everymon had Protean for the sake of like your offensive coverage doubling as defensive utility? That's like interesting to me, because that's what makes Protean interesting, like, period. And I'm like, what if battles just functioned like that though? Like, I know Terra, like, terastallizing is also a cool mechanic. It's more limited than that, where, like, you know, you choose a type to turn into, kind of thing. You know, but as you're building your team, rather. You kind of define that as you're building your team. And you can activate it, like, separately from, like, you know, whenever you use a move. I just think, I don't know, that's like an interesting idea, maybe. Maybe it's... You'd probably have to tweak, like, you know, damage multipliers and shit like that, maybe, to make it balanced, but... Is that thing sticking out the top? How tall is this thing? I guess it's supposed to be a Hypno, right? Dee-da-da-dee-da-da-dee-da-da. Is there another leaf stone up here or something? I think normally these guys have, or this trainer class has the Aroma Lady encounter theme. Some of these encounter themes are definitely not in OG Gen 3. I don't recognize them as much. Obviously, Mawil's the switch here, but I would like to get this EXP, ideally. But yeah, I think that's like an idea that would make single battles within the confines of a JRPG more interesting, maybe. If there was some kind of like Protean or even like color change kind of mechanic, just like generally speaking for the battles. Why? Why did it go for CC randomly? That's so weird. Makes no sense. I guess it was trying to avoid dying to recoil. It's like, buddy, you're toxic. You're slipping under. Ice. You freeze dry? That is a thing in this gen, I think. Unless that was a... I feel like freeze dry was a Gen 6 move, yeah? Maybe it was Gen 7. Gen 6, yeah. Cool move. Very cool move. And I don't mean that in the punny sort of way, I just mean like it's an interesting... It's like, hey, here's this move that would normally be resisted, but is super effective. Is it too strong because of that? Maybe. It's only 70 BP, right? Makes Kyurem a menace. But I think you're gonna attack me. I've... Sucker Punch continues to be, like, not as useful as I would like it to be. But, like, it's also a nice failsafe to just have in the back, just in case. And also, in this case, like, we resist Psychic and Fairy. And, like, some of these things... Not that I would click a Dark move on a Fairy type, but it's more like... Typically, Dark types have Sucker Punch. Sort of deal. Shiny Stone. I don't know what I'm getting at. We don't resist Ghost because fucking nothing resists Ghosts. Except for fucking Dark. And normal for an immunity, but... Yeah. And, like, Gren's not even really a Dark type with Protean, so... But even then, like, yeah, Ghost types, because Shadow Ball is, like, usually their best option, it's, like, not... It's a very spammable move, but it's not, like, too much of a threat, because it's pretty low BP. My point is, Mawile can live like a Dark move, or like a Shadow Ball, and just go for Crunch, instead of, like, trying to hit the priority. But, like, if it's low on health already, there's, like, circumstances where Sucker Punch could be useful, so sure. Just looking around. I've always liked this city, though. Are we interrupting something? like, hello? Anybody home in the colloquial sense? Hello? Anybody? This fucking game, dude. Like, this is what I mean. This is what I mean, man. Like, this would be fine in pixel art, because you're already extrapolating what it actually is supposed to be happening. This is just uncanny and fucking weird. Like, if you say so, like, shit's whack. Where do you get the Altaria Knight? Maybe it's in the fan club, actually. That's probably what it is. Oh, fuck me. Don't do this! Oh my god! Look at you! Oh my god! Oh my god, you're gonna be a star! Let me give you this fucking Pikachu for no reason! Oh my god! I'm being a hater. Contests are cool. Like, I did like doing contests way back in the day. like Gen 3 in particular. Gen 4 added like the other components that I wasn't like as into, and then Gen 5 like kept those components but left out the... Oh my heck. Also, it's a bit of a gut punch because they didn't add like trainer customization to this remake, despite X and Y having it. And like, yeah, the look of Brendan and May is iconic, and I get not wanting to mess with that to an extent, but at the same time, like, that was a big thing with Gen 6, and it's like, that would be a Gen 6-ism to... That would be something that, like, would be worth bringing into this game, but oh well. I mean, it literally came out the next year, so it's like, how feature complete would you expect it to be, right? Interesting. Oh yeah. They want you to go... Because they want you to fight May first, that's what it is. Because can't you... Wait, you can just... That's funny. You can just ignore the last May fight in actual Gen 3. It just occurred to me. That's really funny. Is there anything I can do in here, you fucking old fart? Okay. Every NPC here is in the military, and they're just about facing in the most robotic way possible. That's the only explanation. Not really, though. Yeah, this is where all the game devs are later. There it is. Altaria Knight. These two are making out up there, apparently. Or they're just they're reenacting that one like SNL sketch. Is it Will Forte and Steve Martin, I think? The close talkers. It's even funnier because these guys actually blink. Like, you can see the one guy blinking, and he's just like up in this other dude's face, like so close. It's so stupid. If these were remade in Gen 5, that would have been so gas, man. Like, it's way too late to be lamenting this now, but, like, it's the feeling that I've always had. Like, these are fine games and stuff, but it's just, like... Yeah. Do I want to run... Giving up on Intimidate when you mega this is like, yeah, it's really strong, obviously. Because, you know, it gets an attack buff, and it doubles its attack because of huge power. Excuse me. But I kind of feel like Altaria needs the boost more. But you know what, let's go back to... Let's go to Fall Arbor. And... see what kind of moveset things I can do. And plus, this warrants Altaria having strength in its moveset as well. Has that pixelate boost. Although safety goggles have been, like, strangely useful. That's not what to do. Give... Altaria Knight. Yeah, because now I'm like, I mean, I could keep them all on Mawile in case I want to mega it in a given battle instead of Altaria. But I'm also like, what if I just gave it a Choice Band or AV? I kind of wish it had a draining move of some kind, like, you know, Drain Punch or... I guess, like, Leech Life, but, like, Gen 7 Leech Life. Or something. Yeah, I think do I have 2 heart scales? We can see what I can... what's worth relearning here. Check Helios, because I have not seen anything from him. Eerie Impulse. Partially, so okay. It's like, what's it called? Like Charm, but special. If the target is electrified before it uses a move during the turn... Okay, right, it turns opposing... Why is it worded like that? It's like normalize. It no, not normal. It normalizes an ability. But it has like the same effect, but on your opponent, I think, in terms of electric. Dragon Pulse. Honestly, this is a TM though, isn't it? I'm like kind of not opposed to this, just because like, yeah, Hyper Voice is stab, but it's like, it's not super effective on anything though, so I feel like its utility is kind of limited. And like, I'm thinking like Dragon Pulse for like Drake in particular. Like ways to hit Dragon, but then again, I have like 2 fairy types if you're counting Mega Altaria, so maybe it's not even a thing to worry about. Yeah, we're good on this guy. Sky Attack, nah, Outrage. It's an option. I just think locking yourself into a dragon, well, then again, like against a trainer like Drake would be like kind of disgusting. Like you set up a few dragon dances and then you outrage against a team that you know doesn't have a fairy type. But in most cases, like, you wouldn't want to lock yourself into this. It'd be kind of a niche pick. I don't feel like I necessarily need it. But yeah, DD. Cotton Guard is so good, though, in some cases. But I'm like, do I really want to run... Do I need DD? Like, could I just run Cotton Guard and just... Because it's going to be Earthquake over Bulldoze for steals. Because this thing has crazy special defense to begin with. Like 105, I think, base. And its defense is like 90, but it gets buffed to like 110 in Mega form. So I'm like, maybe that's enough to warrant not needing Cotton Guard, but I'm also like, well, its attack also gets buffed from like 70 to 110 or something. I think that's the difference. I think it's like 40 in attack, 40 in special attack, and then 20 in defense for the 100 stat bonuses. So then I'm like, DD is nice for the extra speed, yeah. But Dragon Fairy is really good defensively. Anyway. Most, like, steel-type moves are gonna be physical. I mean, I guess Flash Cannon exists, but, like, Metagross, Aggron is stuff like Steven would have. So I'm like, I'm almost like Cotton Guard might be better then. But then again, I'm probably switching out into like Mawile on steals. So then I'm like kind of conflicted. Let me look at what everyone else can learn before I commit to this. Because another option is to like catch something to use fly when I need it, and then just run, I guess, Strength, Earthquake, Cotton Guard, and Dragon Dance. I'm like not really opposed to that. Flying coverage is kind of helpful on this team though. Well, Fairy already hits Fightings. I've got a Fire type for Grasses. Ideally Ice coverage on Gren for Grasses. What else? Bug. We got Fire coverage, and Bugs are also typically kind of frail anyway, so... Maybe missing out on Flying Stab is not really an issue. Let me just double check Langolier real quick. Like the Fangs, if I'm gonna run like Choice Band, maybe like Crunch and Sucker Punch are redundant, and I run a Fang for better coverage against something. Check you, even though I don't think there's anything. Yeah, this is all pretty bad. Not worth it. If I could... I have a TM for Will-O-Wisp now, right? Like, if I could put that on, like, Azula over Bulk Up, and then put AV on Dompe? But I don't know what coverage move I give Dompe, though. Whatever. Night Slash, Gunk. I kind of like Toxic on this, I do. It's good defensively. Like, it covers 2 of Gren's, like, base weaknesses, Fairy and Grass. And it also is 100% accurate because you turn into a Poison type. And I think that's a thing from this gen. Is that Toxic is... like, bypasses accuracy checks if you're a Poison type. It's like, I kind of like that. Spikes... I'm so tempted. Like, maybe Shadow Sneak is, like, unwarranted, because this thing is really fast already. It's like, what's outspeeding it, you know? It's base 122 speed. There's not much that I would, like, stay in on that's faster. What's Mega Zam's speed? Just in case Tate and Liza have that. Gen 6 Pokemon by speed. Because I think... yeah, Cerebi, top 300 speed. Top 300 Pokemon by speed stat. Like, Deoxys, Ninjask, whatever. Zam is 150, so, like... sure. Mega Arrow, Mega... Excelgor... Electrode, more Megas, Jolteon, Aerodactyl, Crobat. The usual 130s. Swellow. But even then, like, Helios goes outspeeding Maze Swellow. So. I mean, Gren is the 27th fastest mon in the game. And a lot of these are Megas that we're probably not going to run into, like Mega Mewtwo and shit. Phoebe might have a Mega Gengar. It's possible. Like, if they gave her a Mega... no, it's probably Mega Bayonet. Never mind. Because I'm thinking, like... I like Scald. I mean... I would prefer probably a higher damage water move. But I'm thinking... Like, are spikes even worth it, though? Like, I'm trying to think of, like, Tate and Liza, it's like Solrock and Lunatone are both levitators. I just don't know, like, T-Spike was useful for a bit, but I don't know if I can just... I like the idea of spikes, because it makes you immune to electric, and play around that. But, for one layer, you know? And I'm like, how much is one layer really doing? You know? Like, yeah, break sashes and stuff like that, and sturdies. But, like, I don't have other ways to play around that kind of thing. Like, what about U-turn? Do I have the TM? Where's the TM for U-turn? I'd almost rather just take that. Because I have Volt Switch on, Heliolisk. But for anything that's, like, you know, if there's, like, a ground type with Sturdy or something. I guess it would be like Golem kind of specifically. ORAS TMs. U-turn. Mauville Hills Balcony. That's random, okay. So we can go get that. Because I'm like, what do I want? What's Gren's level up move pool also? It's probably a little bit different in this hack, but let's see, Gen 6. Gets pump at 60 normally. I would consider running pump, maybe. I'm probably gonna have to teach it dive temporarily when we need that. And then reteach it Scald because it's a TM, but... Haze. Why does it try to learn Water Shuriken again at 75? In case you didn't evolve Frogadier at 36, I guess? That's weird. That is one thing I can compliment Gen 8 for, is implementing... I think it was Gen 8 implemented, like, moves on evolution instead of you have to evolve it right when it's supposed to evolve so you can get the move at 36 kind of thing. But I guess there's a trade-off, and then, like, you can always hard scale it back too, that's true. Sub is an interesting option. I have to figure out Waterfall, but that's just like really a one-time thing. Yeah, I don't know if spikes really make sense the more I think about it. The idea of it is cool, but yeah. And in terms of Altaria, like, strength is for sure, and I had to PK Hacks this on because it didn't learn it naturally. It's also weaker than Return, which I think I have already. Right? No? There's some way I can get the TM for Return. It's slightly weaker, and it also allows me to not ruin another moveset with an HM that would otherwise be useless on any other mon. So, yeah. There's the justification for that, but point being, strength stays. I think EQ, like, eventually will stay. I would get... thing is, I think May's gonna ambush us when we go to the move deleter. Or try to go to the move deleter. So I'm just trying to think. Flare Blitz, HJK. Double Kick has like actually come into play a few times with like breaking sashes and sturdies. I want T-Punch over Cut, if anything. Or maybe even like Night Slash. At least until Rotate and Liza. And again, I can buy Heart Scales. Yeah, I guess... Okay. This ended up being more of a waste of time than I thought. We can come back here once I buy more Heart Scales from the department store, but we'll do that next time. I gotta fix this, though. Yeah, and then we'll lead Apollo into May next time. Because of her Swellow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the squad's fully healed, but we'll just do this right now anyway. Yeah, because I'm kind of thinking... Can Latias learn Fly, naturally? Yes. So, I mean, I could just use this... No disrespect to the Lotties, I like them, but it's like, I'm not going to use them on the team. And so I'm like, I could use this thing as a means to use, like, some HMs that it might get, instead of bogging my team down. I still just find that so fucking annoying, but... Even my favorite mainline titles still, like, have that issue with Gen 4 and 5, so... Fair enough, you know? I just feel like this gen in particular is, like, so... obnoxious with its HMs, man. It's so obnoxious. But yeah, solid progress. We're in probably my favorite city in the region. Not that there's a whole lot to do here, but you know. I like the track that plays here, and it's got a cool vibe, all that, by the sea. But yeah, next time, what will we do without Rayquaza? No, I feel you, I feel you. That's one of those things I've been lamenting it, like replaying this game for the first time in a while, is like, yeah, there's Delta episode, but like missing out on some of the Emerald kinds of things, like both evil teams like being a factor you have to defeat, sort of thing, stuff like that. But yeah, Gen 3 was basically my first also. It's just, it's like these days not actually one of my favorites, even though like Hoenn as a region is one of my favorite regions, but the games themselves, I don't like dislike them now. It's just like, I just think that better has come along, but yeah. Yeah, appreciate you, DJ Soundwave. Yeah, I think Gen 3 was a lot of people's firsts. You know, especially being like first on GBA. Even though, of course, like you could play Game Boy Color games on GBA and stuff like that, but which is what I did, like after the fact. I was like, I had borrowed a friend's copy of Gen 2, tried that out, and then like, you know, put a GBA SP and Pokemon Ruby on my Christmas list and stuff. Hoping to make an Emerald ROM hack one day. Nice! Glad to hear it. Best of luck. It's a very robust scene out there. Lots of possibilities when it comes to Gen 3 ROM hacking. It's kind of crazy. And I'm hoping to see more... I really wish like Gen 4 and 5 were cracked open like that to the point where we could see more hacks from those gens. But maybe someday. And there's like some, but like it's fairly limited, especially from like on Gen 5's side, but yeah, I guess like back to what I was saying though, but like like since I had a GBA SP, like I got a copy of Gold and like Yellow at one point to play through the first two gens properly before Fire Red and Leaf Green and all that. So I was like super into like playing older games even way back when. which is cool. Not that they were that much older at that time, but still. Yeah, it's still good to go through this again for the first time in a while, like, sort of see how I feel about it. And it's, like, not the worst thing ever for me to, like, play through it, even though I'm not, like, loving my time with it or something. It's fine. It's fine, it's cool. I can justify a single run of this. And then, you know, at some point in the future, if I want to come back to it, sure, fine. But not a title that I will probably be seeking out a replay in. But yeah, next time will be May. Her, normally, what is her final fight? Team Aqua Base, 7th badge. I don't know how much I want to explore of the water routes, really. So, like, it's possible I get, like, a good ways into even, like, fighting Team Aqua next time and stuff like that, too, but... No, I totally agree, yeah. Like, I think... If a Mon can normally use Surf, just let it use Surf without having to actually teach it the HM, or if you want to have, like, you know, separate move slots specifically for field moves, like, that's also an option. Or, like, you know, if a Pokemon has, like, Sharp Claws, it can use Cut without having to... Like, I think the Ride Pokemon solution is, like, it is a solution, and I'm glad that, like, Gen 7 implemented it and all of that, but it's not quite the same as your own Pokemon that you have on your team doing the things. I think that's the component that's kind of missing when it comes to Ride Mons. And I know that, like, that might limit team comp to a certain extent too, but, like, if you leverage open world design and make it, like, non-linear in the fact that, like, I can either climb this cliff or cut down this tree and take this path, or I can either take this water route or I can take this land route that might require Rock Smash or something. Like, there's all sorts of ideas that could be considered, especially from, like, a full-on, you know, game developing studio that, like, should have these ideas kind of in mind and be able to execute on them and figure out those kind of, like, I don't know, if like an average Joe like me, like, I'm not a game dev by any means, can, like, come up with these ideas, it's like, I don't think it's too far-fetched to implement these kinds of things, because other games have done stuff like that. Like, even with, like, the field move thing, it doesn't have to, like, limit your team comp as much as you might think if there are other options and stuff like that. But I like your idea of being able to just, like, let large water mons use Surf without using Surf. Fairy types, EXP share, reusable TMs. And yeah, dude, I mean, hey, best of luck. I mean, all of those features sound great to me. Those are the kinds of things that I tend to look for in ROM hacks a lot of the time. Like mechanical updates and just, like, quality of life things that otherwise might not be in the older titles. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it, though. I'm kind of tired. And yeah, next time, Gym 7 for sure. But again, like, it's possible I get, like, further than I expect or whatever, because I probably won't fight very many of the trainers on the water routes, if I had to imagine. And, like, I don't know if Shoal Cave is going to be warranted. I don't even know what we find in there that would be worth getting. It's a cool area, though. Like, that's the thing. Yeah. But kind of nearing the end at this point, honestly. Like, kind of. Probably going to be a few more streams, but yeah.